Andariki Namaskaramulu. Today is another good day for all of us that we are going to have another session with Dr. CSR Prabhu garu. And that today there is a change of topic. We have finished with Upanishads for last 3 days. Now we are going to start with Darshanas next 3 days. After that, we will have one session on Vimana Shastra, then another 3 sessions on Bhagavad Gita. So this is the program for this month with Dr. CSR Prabhu garu. Now let us start with Vande Mataram and then chanting of Prarthana. Chala Chatbabu garu, please.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malaya Jasitala, Sasya Syamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Subrajyosna pulakitayamini pullakusumita drumadala shobhini suhasini sumadhura bhashini sukhadam varadam mataram vande mataram. Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram.
Namaskar.
ధన్యవాదములండి చాలా చిట్టిబాబు గారు. Now let us request Hari Kumari garu to chant Prarthana, please.
Jai. Let us be in silence 1 minute and then do Omkar 3 times. गणानात् त्वां गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमस्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवचि धीनामवित्र्यवतु। ॐ श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्मि गुरौ मां पाहि गुरो। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादा शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमव्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ जय
ఓకే, ధన్యవాదములండి హరికుమార్ గారు. నౌ లెట్ us రిక్వెస్ట్ CSR Prabhu గారు టు స్టార్ట్ ద వెబినార్ ప్లీజ్.
नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या प्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो कृभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञानघन प्रत्यगर्थो सोऽहमस्मि एवाहमस्मि. Friends, we have seen the Upanishads, and today we'll open up the series on Darshanas. What are Darshanas? If you look at the Vedic knowledge system, we have the Veda, Vedanga, Upanga. That is why it is said in the ancient times, the top Brahmin scholars who went to Kashi, they became experts in Veda, Vedanga, Upanga, Sanga, Upanga, Sangopanga Vedadhyanam. That is the word they are using. Vedadhyanam was performed along with the Angas and Upangas. So what are the Angas of the Vedas? Siksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Niruktha, Chandas and Jyot. Our speaker Krishnamurti Tripathi will be explaining those Vedangas and Vedas proper in his slots. Now the Upangas are called Darshans. Is that clear to all of you? 6 those and 6 these, 12. So 12 subjects along with the Vedas. They are associated with the Vedas because the Vedangas become the entry points or opening of the eyes and mouth and so on for the Vedas. Like Mukham Vyakaranam, mouth. Mouth is Vyakaranam. That is how to speak, how the speech, how the language is correct or incorrect. So, and Jyotisha is the eye, the light, without which you cannot understand anything in the Vedas. Similarly, we have Niruktam, which is the etymology or the thesaurus or the dictionary of the Vedic words. Then Siksha is fundamental chanting of the alphabets, Varnocharana Siksha and other basic education, primary. Then we have the Siksha Kalpa. Kalpa Shastra is the ritualistic procedures. The Sulva Sutras and Kalpa Sutras all come under Kalpa, Anga. Siksha Kalpa Vyakarana is Panini's Vyakarana. Of course, before Panini also there are other Vyakaranas. Then Nirukta, which is the dictionary or etymology or thesaurus. Siksha Kalpa Vyakarana Nirukta Chandas. Chandas is the poetics, meter, metrics, the meters of various mantras in Vedas, without which you cannot grasp what is the correct nature of the particular Vedic. Then finally, Jyotish, that deals with the Vedanga Jyotisha, what is called is Lagadha is assigned to it, is they describe the motions of the sun and the moon and the Navagrahas and the entire Vedic ritual system, the yajnas. Vedas are mantras which are meant for chanting in the yajnas. So the yajnas are performed according to the planetary positions. So all the motions of the planets, there are two parts, the Goladhyaya and the Horadhyaya. Goladhyaya means observational or positional astronomy. So you observe how the sun, moon and other planets are moving and what is their position and how that is going to affect Earth and how that is going to affect each one of person on the Earth. Jyotisha Shastra. Hora is the time factor. The word hour in English, H-O-U-R, hour, is nothing but Hora. Hora actually means Ahoratra, 1 day and 1 night, 24 hours. Hora. Ahora. Hora. So, the time calculation, that is Jyotisha. And we will be having sessions on Panchangam where time calculation will be explained by Dr. Sundari. So, these are the 6 Vedangas. And what are the Upangas, which are also given the title Darshanas? That is 6. The Sankhya is the first Darshana. The word Darshana means vision or perspective. So when you try to get a understanding of Vedas, apart from the basic fundamentals which are covered in the Vedangas, the philosophical perspectives or the thought processes or the thinking perspectives or the what you call the intellectual perspectives. The pursuits of intellectual perspectives are called darshans. In Hindi, the word darshana means philosophy. So here what we are trying to say is that each of the darshanas, there are 6 darshanas, they give an independent perspective this way and this way and this way. Like, you know, if you have a mountain, as you go, you might have seen while going in train, when you see the mountain, it looks in a particular way, in a particular angle. That is darshana. If you go further, the train, the angle changes. So the same mountain looks in a different way. So if you go even further, it looks in a different. So the reality which is presented through the Vedas is having multiple perspectives. Darshana, Sankhya perspective, Yoga perspective, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. All are independent darshanas, but they are complement. This point is not known to most of the people. Everybody thinks each darshana is independent by itself. Sankhya is independent. Yoga is independent like that. It is not true. They are independent, no doubt, but they are complementary. Like husband and wife, man and woman, husband and wife. They are independent, but they are complementary. If both husband and wife don't exist, then there can be no children, no family, no society, no civilization, no human race. So that means all the six darshanas have their own independent roles, but they support and complement each other. Purak hai, they are purak, that means they complement each other in the totality perspective. Oh, now for example, physical perspective, Vaiseshika darshana of Kannada Sutras is a physical perspective of the universe, reality, and the physical perspective of Vedas. Veda means knowledge, knowledge of all subjects. That means the entire universe, entire Jagat, the entire nature, entire life is covered in the Veda. Veda is not one subject. Every subject is covered. Like it is like saying knowledge. Knowledge is not one subject. Knowledge is every subject. Word Veda means knowledge. So modern knowledge also can be considered in terms of Sanskrit as Veda. Like, modern knowledge which we study in our colleges and schools or institutions of higher education, they can be considered as Veda in the modern time. And we are talking of the ancient times, the entire knowledge is kept in the Veda. So the physical perspective is Vaiseshika Darshana, the psychological or mental perspective is Yoga, and the basic model of the universe of nature and man is Sankhya. And then we have the logical perspective, how to apply logic. It's called Nyaya Darshana. So we are left with Mimamsa and Vedanta, which is called Purva Mimamsa, previous Mimamsa, and also later Mimamsa. Mimamsa means analysis, which is called Vedanta Darshana. Now, Purva Mimamsa means the previous Mimamsa of Jaimini Sutras, gives the perspective of the Karma Kanda, the ritualistic lore of the Vedas, the various yagas, yajnas. As I told you in the beginning, the Veda mantras are meant only for the performance of the yajnas, not just for reading in a book and all that. It's not correct. So they are meant for chanting. Yo Vedadav Swara Prokto. The Swara, the pitch of the Vedas are so important. They are meant for chanting. Chanting where? Chanting not at our home, but in the yajnas. So when you perform big yajnas, there are 11 Havir yagas which are Srauta yaga, Srauta karma, big like including Vajapeya, Soma yaga, Chayana, and Agnishtoma, Atira, and so on. So all these yajnas, they will be performed in a very elaborate, big manner for many days, 10 days, 40 days, like that. So during that process, the Veda mantras have to be chanted at a particular purpose, particular chanting, particular meaning, particular context and requirement. So the Brahmana Granthas give the practical lab manual type of procedures for the yajna processes, and the Mimamsa Darshana concerns itself with the Karma Kanda. Jaimini is one of the 4 disciples of Vyasa who was assigned Samaveda. So like Paila, Jaimini, Vaishampayana. Vaishampayana was assigned Yajurveda and Sumanta. 4. Paila, Jaimini, Vaishampayana and Sumanta were the 4 disciples of Vyasa, Vedavyasa Rishi, who were assigned 4 Vedas. So the same Jaimini also wrote the Karmakanda Sutras, karma as the fundamental basis for getting liberation. What is the objective of all darshanas? The objective of all darshanas is only moksha. Moksha means freedom. Freedom means multiple levels of freedom. Like right now, unless you are free, you are having a free mind, you are free from miseries, free from problems, you cannot even understand what I'm talking. If you are being distracted, if you are being pained, or if you are made to suffer, like what is happening in the Gaza Strip, nobody will listen to any lecture on any topic. So how to get liberated from pain, from misery, immediate as well as long term. How to get global peace, global freedom, freedom from sorrow, and finally, how to be not born again. Of course, how to become free when you are alive and how to be not born again. So for that purpose, moksha, that is the meaning of moksha. Moksha means freedom, liberation. Liberation from what? From bondage, from misery, from sorrow, from pain, from control, conditioning, tormentation, torture. All this is happening. Not only in Gaza Strip, it is happening in Ukraine. It is happening in many other places, in many countries. Somewhere in Congo, something happens. Somewhere in, somewhere else, something else will happen. Even in India, so many things happen. Why these things are happening? They are happening due to ignorance, due to lack of adequate knowledge, lack of correct approach. If there was a correct approach, these things wouldn't have happened. For example, you take the Gaza Strip. If they have adopted dharma, this thing would have not happened. Tomorrow I am giving an online lecture for a global audience. It is called World Values Day. Tomorrow is a Values Day. So anything that happens bad is because of adharma. When you break the system of justice, when you break the system of natural justice, which is essential for balance, if you break it once, there will be a repercussion. Like for example, when you go in a bus, you're sitting on a chair and your neighbor is there. By chance, you hit him with your leg or with something. Then what will you do? You'll say sorry. But are people saying that? Have they said sorry to any person who was affected by us outside? In a bus, we'll say small things. But in our homes, in our offices, in our countries, when the Israel country was created in the midst of the Palestinian nation, was there any compensation given? Was there any satisfaction? Was there any acceptance? Nothing. It is imposed by the British to open up a new country. It's true that the Jews left that part of the world long back, thousands of years back. Now they want to have a homeland because there is no country for them anywhere in the world. For every religion, there is at least one country. So they wanted to have a country. So fine, but then you should have had a treaty. You should have had an understanding with the actual owners of that land, who are the Palestinians, or you should have gone that compensation. Nothing was done. Just like that, so there is a resentment, there is a retribution, there is a sense of revenge, and you can see how many wars are happening. Similar things are happening in our houses or in our apartments or in our offices. When you break the natural justice for any reason, the reason may be genuine, it may be inevitable, but you should be able to balance it out, to compensate it, to apologize. It has not been done. If you accept adharma and then try to compensate for it or get acceptance through neutralization, then it is possible to get justice. So, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So, artha and kama, that is finance, making money, earning, and kama is consuming, exhausting the monies which you earn, and that will result in freedom, moksha, balance, equilibrium, samadhi in the society. If you don't do that, if you don't follow dharma, and you perform your artha and kama in a promiscuous manner, in a licentious manner, in whatever way you like, without worrying about past, present, future, without worrying about dharma, then what will happen? There will be a backlash. So, and on the contrary, if you adopt adharmic methods for achieving your desires, for accumulating money, which is the Rakshasa Pravritti, Asuri Pravritti, given in the 16th chapter. Asha Pasha Shatair Baddha Kama Krodha Parayana ihante kama bhogartham anyayena artha sanchayan. By illegal methods, you accumulate money for fulfilling your hundreds and hundreds of desires, which are not necessities, and at the cost of others who need that money, who need those resources. You spend the majority of the earth resources for yourself without bothering about the rest of the people. What will happen? If your neighbor is suffering, you cannot be happy because he is going to attack you. So, friends, dharma, ardhascha kamascha, there's a statement like this: ardha and kama, if they follow dharma, then it will lead to moksha, freedom. Otherwise, it will lead to bondage and it will lead to misery, torture, tormentation, violence, war, death, pogrom, genocide, annihilation, all kinds of things will happen. All these things are happening because of adharma. That is obvious because you see, if you have a disease, the body, because you are not maintained your health, you are not taken precautions, your diet, your water, your exercise, your air, you are not able to maintain balance, so there is a disease condition. So there is a disease in the society because you have not performed your duty in maintaining the social balance and justice. It is at all levels. Not only Biden himself will do everything, or Putin himself will do everything. It's not like that. Everybody has to do it. It is all one connected to each other. Now, once one adharma happens, there will be a retaliation, and then they retaliate, like what is happening in Gaza Strip. X, Y, Z goes on like this, endless retaliations. The breaking of the adharma, Patanjali also said, any abrogation of the dharma principles of Yamaniyamas will lead to a backlash, retaliation, which is endless. The continuous back up and down backlash. So very, very carefully, one has to be right in the beginning, at societal level, for the top leaders and for the judiciary and for the executive and the bureaucracy and political system. We know how much dharma is understood or how much dharma is being practiced. And in our own individual life, tomorrow I'm going to talk about all these things, how we are failing in upholding dharma and practicing. And so the adharma leads to all problems and bandhas, and moksha is this possible only through dharma, because you cannot escape from artha and kama. If you follow dharma in artha and kama, then you will get moksha. So all the darshanas, why I told all this is not out of politics interest, but all the darshanas are aimed at moksha. They tell right in the beginning, by this you will get moksha, by this you will get moksha, by this you will get moksha. Each darshana, 6 darshanas give 6 different approaches to get moksha. Moksha means not, at the end of life, after death, you will not be born again. That is a separate level. But even right now, in your existing life, if you want to be free, so suppose you want to be free from your diseases, you have to be healthy. Then you practice yoga, you practice diet control, you practice exercise, you practice walking, all these things. If you do all these things, then you will be healthy and happy. So, right, that itself is moksha at this time. If somebody is hungry, what is his moksha? His moksha is to fill up the stomach. Then I got a temporary moksha, he got. Again, tomorrow he will be again hungry. That is a separate issue. So, moksha is a continuous process. And for achieving that, these 6 darshanas are giving 6 different perspectives. So, they are giving, like, for example, now if you start with the Sankhya Darshana, I'll give an overview of the 6 darshanas today and delve deeper into each one of them in the given available time to the extent possible. Not all, not full, but part. So, right now I have given you the very basic overview, but now I'll go a little deeper into the first one, Sankhya Darshana. The Sankhya Darshana, which the sutras, the Sankhya Darshana, Sankhya sutras are there because each Darshana has got sutras. Yoga Darshana has got Patanjali Yoga Sutras, right? You all know about Patanjali. thanks to Ramdev, he made Patanjali come to the streets. So now the Sankhya Darshana is made by Kapila, and the Yoga Darshana is by Patanjali Sutras, and the Nyaya Darshana is by Gautama Rishi, and Vaisheshika Darshana is Kanada Rishi Sutras, and Mimamsa Darshana Sutras are by Jaimini, Mimamsa Sutras. And then Vedanta Darshana or Uttara Mimamsa, another name for Vedanta is Uttara Mimamsa, later Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa or Mimamsa Darshana, Jaimini Sutra. The later Mimamsa are the Vedanta Darshana Sutra, Brahma Sutras by Badarayana. So these 6 Darshanas have 6 Sutra systems, and they are all Astika Darshanas. That means they accept the existence of God, existence of Ishvara or Creator as an intelligent cause, original cause for the universe. It is not just a man creating laddus. The universe is getting created. So what is the original cause? It is not a human being. As people depict one man with a beard sitting in a chair, a big chair in the 7th heaven. All that is utter childishness. So we are talking of the original cause, because the universe has a cause. Without cause, there cannot be an effect. Even this is in Manasutra in Kannada Vaiseshta. Karana bhavat karya bhavaha. So the original cause is accepted. That is Ishvara, God, Bhagavan, whatever you want to say, the names. Allah also you can say any word, or you cannot say any word also, because all words are wrong. There cannot be any word which will be 100% correct to express the entire nature of the Supreme Divine Being. So all these words which are being used are for our own convenience. They are very, very limited perspective of the meaning behind that particular word, but we have no choice. We have to use some word or other. So these are the Astika Darshanas, they are theistic philosophical perspective systems. Whereas there are Nastika Darshanas, which are atheistic, like Buddha, Bauddha Darshanas, Shunyavada, Madhyamikavada, and so on. So the Jaina Darshanas are there. They are also Nastika. They don't recognize both the existence of a creator God or Ishvara or an intelligent cause of the universe, and they also consequently do not accept the authority of the Vedas. The Veda is theistic. Vedas contain hundreds and thousands of mantras praising various aspects of the Supreme Being. Sahasrashirsha Purushaha, Sahasrakshas Sahasrabha. So Vedas are theistic, whereas these are not atheistic. The Buddhist and Jains are atheistic. And surprisingly, the Abrahamic religions, which are also theistic, and I don't understand why they have to fight among themselves, all the theistic religions. They are fighting. And surprisingly, we accept Buddhism and Jainism as part of Hinduism, even in Constitution of India. But we do not accept the 3 theistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Because they are not of Indian origin. They are from Middle East. All 3 came from the same place, the same Middle East, Gaza Strip. That is where the entire history took place. All the 3 religions came out of there only. And they are fighting like hell. I asked them one day when delegation came from Israel, from Palestine and all that. There were Palestinians, Israelis, and that is Jews and the Christians. 3 people are there. So I asked them, why are you fighting? Because your God is same, your gurus are same, everything is same. Then they said, no, the fight is not about philosophical, spiritual matter. Then fight for what? Fight for land, he says. So finally, it is a real estate problem. So the big wars are happening for land purpose. Why can't there be some other land given or some compensation, some adjustment, understanding? No, they will not. They want only that land. All the 3 want only that land. And they go on fighting. So now the theistic Darshanas, that is the Sankhya. Sankhya also has two parts, the Nirishwara Sankhya and Seshwara Sankhya. So Seshwara Sankhya is nothing but Yoga Darshana. Because in Yoga Darshana, Ishvara has been admitted not like a Bhagwan creator, but as a special personality who is liberated. Because yoga doesn't talk about creation and other things. Because it is left to Vedanta to talk about. So in Sankhya Darshana, the Nirishwara Sankhya is talking of Purusha and Prakriti. We can equate Purusha roughly with Brahman of Vedanta, that is a separate issue. So now in the Sankhya Darshana, which is delivered by Kapila Muni, where is Kapila Muni? Kapila Muni is near Calcutta. I went there. Ganga Sagar Sangam. Kapila Muni ashram was there, and the Sagara's sons were all burned into ashes. They got liberated when Ganga was brought from the top of Himalayas to the Calcutta area, Diamond Harbour. That's where the Ganga Sagar Sangam, Ganga merged into the ocean at Ganga Sagar Sangam. That's where the Kapila Muni was there, and all the Sagara's sons were burned into ashes with the anger of Kapila Muni, who was disturbed by them. So after Ganga was brought there, they got liberation. When Ganga water flew on the ashes, they got liberated. That's why we put ashes of our physical bodies after death into Ganga water or Triveni Sangam. So that liberation of the dead soul. So that Kapila Muni wrote this Sankhya Sutra. Normally, in stories in Puranas, we have so many stories about Kapila Muni, like what I told just now, and then we have stories about Vyasa, we have stories about Vaishampayana, but we don't know what they did, why they are so great. Now here you can see what Kapila Muni did. He might have done many other things, but what he did here was he wrote the Sankhya Sutras. Kapila. Kapila was the origin. It's one of the 24 avatars of Vishnu as given in Srimad Bhagavad Purana. He first taught Sankhya Darshana to his own mother, Devahuti. And she got liberated by understanding Sankhya Darshana. So the first sutra of the Sankhya Darshana is Trividha Dukkha Nivrittiratyanta Purusharthaha. What is the purpose of your life? What is the Purushartha? What is the human effort you can put for what? Trividha Dukkha Nivrittihi. To overcome your sorrow, your problems, your sorrows. All sorrows, problems, miseries, pains can be categorized into three types. Trividha Dukkha Nivrittihi Atyanta Purusharthaha. Atyanta is highest, maximum. Purushartha, human effort, achievement is nothing but overcoming the sorrows, the miseries, the pains. Now you can see what is happening in the world. If you open the TV, you will see terrible things being shown. Rakshasa Krityas are being shown. And inside our house also, we know how people fight with each other, they will abuse each other, they will beat each other. All kinds of things happen. And if nothing, if you are even keeping your eyes closed and sitting in one corner, you will have a lot of problems within yourself. You will be remembering this, you will be remembering that, you will be getting angry, you will be getting misery, you will be getting depressed. So many things will happen within yourself. That is called Adhyatmika Dukkha. And outside world, suddenly there will be earthquake in Turkey and lakhs of people died. That kind of dukkha is called Adhi Daivika Dukkha. And Adhi Bhautika Dukkha is, I don't have a healthy body, I have this problem, I have that problem, I have back pain, I have leg pain, and I have, skin problem, so many problems. So, Adhi Bhautika, Adhi Daivika, Adhyatmika. Now, if you look at the Gaza Strip events, the miseries, the problems, pains people are having there, what are they? They are Adhibhautika because they are suffering, they are in hospital, all kinds of things are happening. But how did they come? Not because of any earthquake, not Adhidevika, but adhyatmika. The internal violent emotions which the two varying groups have against each other. So finally, I would go to the extent of saying, except your Adhi Daivika, the natural calamities, all other problems are caused by yourself, within yourself. Your health, you have a right to be healthy, but you are not healthy. So you have a right to be happy, you are not happy. You are not happy within yourself. When you are not happy, how can you make others happy? Tell me. So if you have money adequately for your own expenditure, then you have extra money, then you can give to others when they ask you, or even without asking, you can give. Similarly, if you are satisfied, if you are healthy and therefore happy within yourself, then you can share your happiness to others. That is what is a festival all about. Festival is celebration. We celebrate our life. Batukamma, the mother life. We celebrate our life. All 10 days of Navaratri, with the culmination of Vijayadashmi, we are celebrating our life in different dimensions. Knowledge dimension is Saraswati Puja, Lakshmi Puja, and Durga Puja, and so on. So different dimensions of that is Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. So we are celebrating life. Yes, it is a festive season. The happiness is being shared. So our rishis have created these occasions to share. Otherwise, we'll always be in misery. So there is an occasion created to be happy, to celebrate. Even the poorest person will be celebrating Deepavali, Dasara. So Trividha Dukkha Nivrittiratyanta Purusharthaha. All your human efforts are aimed at only overcoming the miseries and pains and dukkha in 3 categories. That is the first sutra of Sankhya Darshan. What a surprise! Kapila Muni, who was thousands and thousands of years ago, is much older than Rama, Krishna, and all these people. He told this at that time. And then the entire Sankhya Sutras are delving into how you got into misery and how to overcome out of it. So finally, he says, Asangoyam Purushaha. That is the last sutra. This Purusha, that is the man, the individual soul, is Asanga, is unaffected. That is freedom, moksha. In between, there are a lot of the many chapters, many sutras. We will not have time to delve into all that. You can study on your own. Sankhya Darshana, Sankhya Sutras. But the Bhagavad Gita itself is a Sankhya text. In the 9th chapter, it is clearly brought out the essence of Sankhya, that is Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanscha Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan Karya Karana Kartrutve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate Purusha Sukhadukhanam Bhoktrutve Hetu Ruchyate. So, Purusha and Prakriti, Purusham Prakritim Chaiva Vidhi Anadi, there is no beginning, they are always there, and there is no end of this. They are always there, continuously, Prakriti and Purusha. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanschaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. So, what are the items born out of Prakriti? Vikaras. Vikaras means not, నాకు వికారంగా ఉంది, I'll get vomiting. It's not that vikara. Changes, modifications. Kara, vikara, prakara. The word kara is action. Prakara is various types of action. Vikara is distorted action. Change. Hunkara, ahankara. All different words, suffixes will, different upasargas will lead to different meanings for the same word kara, karna. So, vikara is modification. Shadbhava vikaras are there. What are they? Birth is the first, death is the last. In between, we have growth, we have maturity, we have decay, decomposition, and death. So, every object in this world, suppose you take this mobile phone. This mobile phone had a birth, it was manufactured at a particular time in a particular factory. It will be in sthiti, it is in operation for some time, then suddenly it may develop some defects, or it may fall down, or it may break. Decay after maturity of sustenance, finally death. It will be go and dumped into the dump yard where it will be pulverized into small atomic levels. Finished. So every object, if this is the fate of our God, mobile phone, today who is our God? Our mobile phone is our God. Without which we cannot do it. What about all other ordinary things? Anything and everything, human body has a birth and has a death and has a growth and has a maturity and has decay, decomposition and death. Shadbhava vikaras. There are 6 states of change. They are called vikaras. Vikaranscha gunanschaiva sattva rajas tama. 3 gunas, you all must have heard. So these 3 gunas, Devi Hesha Gunavati Mama Maya Dunachaya. So he has told in the Gita, my own Maya, the divine power. What do we do in the Navaratri? We are propitiating the divine Shakti, the Maya, Mahamaya, Prakriti, in different dimensions. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shakti is Savitri, Gayatri, Saraswati. And then Ichha Shakti is Lakshmi, Kriya Shakti is Durga. So we are propitiating, worshipping all these Shaktis during 9 days. And 10th day we are getting victory, Vijayadashami. So these different Devata Rupas, forms, are different forms of Shakti, Prakriti, Karya Karana Kartrutve Hetu Prakriti Uchate. Not only the Gunas and the Vikaras, but the action, any action and its cause, Karana, Karya Karana Kartrutva, the ownership of action. All the 3 plus the Gunas, 3 Gunas, Sattva-rajas, Tamo Gunas, plus the Shadvikara, 6 changes. Oh, that means almost everything in the universe, the physical universe which you see, everything in it is called Prakriti, nature. Who is Purusha? Then where is Purusha? Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktrutve Heturuch. The word Purusha simply means man. Man and nature. That is the broad definition here. Now you say only nature is there, then there is no man. Can you say that? Who is the observer of nature? Who is the feeler, thinker, enjoyer, experiencer, Sakshi, Chaitanya? That is Purusha, which is also known as Atma in other darshanas. In Sankhya Darshana, it is not called Atma, or it's not called Brahman, it is not called Ishvara, it is only called Purusha. Purusha Sukhadukhanam Bhoktrutve Heturuchyate. The feeler, thinker, enjoyer, the consciousness, Sakshi, Avyaya Purusha Sakshi, Kshetrajno Aksharevacha. He is the Purusha. So Prakriti and Purusha, they are always there. They are in fact merged. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanscha Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan Karya Karana Kartrutve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktrutve Hetu Ruchyate. So this is the broad architecture of the Sankhya Darshana given in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a Sankhya text because all darshanas started with Sankhya Darshana. The Vedanta Darshana is the last. The Advaita, Vishishta, all those things come at the last. But right in the beginning is Sankhya Darshana. Then we have Yoga Darshana, which is closely linked to Sankhya Darshana. It is called Seshvara Sankhya. Sankhya is the basic framework for yoga, but added, extended with Ishvara. So that's why it is called Seshvara Sankhya. Prakriti, Purusha, and of course Ishvara. So Ishvara is a personality additionally added in the Yoga Darshana. So we have finished Sankhya Darshana. Those who have any questions on Sankhya Darshana can ask at the end of after finishing this lecture. Now I will enter into Yoga Darshana. And we'll continue Yoga Darshana tomorrow also, detail. or maybe in brief, because we have 1 month of yoga anyway. So the Yoga Darshana does not talk about Prakriti and Purusha, it takes it for granted. And it starts with what is called Manas Chitta. Yogaha Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is only limited to the psychological perspective of the reality. Broad framework of the universe and reality is given in the Sankhya Darshana. But here, the Purusha or the aware feeler, thinker, enjoyer, the observer, who is that? And how to be experiencing that state. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avastha. Drashta, the observer, in his true nature, can be established if and only if his mind is chilled, stopped. Chitta vritti nirodha. The mental modifications, the alterations, the disturbances, the wave patterns, vritti, chitta vrittis, when they are stopped, when they are calmed down, they cessate, only then the drashta is in his own true nature. Otherwise, what happens? Vritti sarupyamitaratra. The chitta vrittis are showing this, that, so many X, Y, Z, hundreds and thousands of false identities. So the Purusha Drashta is assuming one of those false identities. Name, form, attributes, Aadhaar number, weight, designation, address, so many false identifications. Therefore, what is to be done? Chitta vritti nirodha. Stop all chitta vrittis. That means mind is gone. There is no mind. Then you are in yourself. That is called samadhi. So to achieve that, how to achieve it? Abhyas vairagya abhyamtam nirodha. By practice, by dispassion, detachment, giving up all desires, and so on. And what are the various practices? Ashtanga yoga. Tatra sthito yatno abhyasaha. Continuous practice. Satu dirghakala nairantarya satkara sevito drudha bhumi. Continuous practice for a long time without break. It will give you strong foundation. So the whole Yoga Darshana is based on practice. Abhyasa. Abhyasa surair anubhuyamana. That's what Shankaracharya also said. The valorous practitioners will experience. Theory is not going to be adequate. Theory is okay, essential, basic requirement. Like, it is saying that how do I go to Ashok Nagar? Then theory, you get Google Maps, go right, go left, go right, go left. That is just the theory in Google Maps. Unless you go there, you will not reach Ashok Nagar. So in the same way, you cannot experience unless you do it. Just talking about it, it is like talking about swimming. Oh, you write a book on swimming, you read a book, you give a lecture, you give a PowerPoint presentation. The big joke is one of my yoga students in Bombay, Peter Theobald. He went to, he paid 1 lakh rupees to learn yoga in an institute in Chennai, very famous institute. I don't want to give the name. So he was hoping to learn different aspects of yoga there. But what they did there, when he went, they took 1 lakh rupees and then they started giving a PowerPoint presentation. Can you believe this? There are yoga gurus and institutions which take not only 1 lakh, they may even take 10 lakhs. But they will give PowerPoint presentations, they will give all gas lectures, they'll talk very colorfully in TV interviews, but nothing will come out because they cannot practice anything. The learners. So this man came to me after all those things, and then he was so happy by learning from me various practical aspects of yoga that finally he made me write a book, the Yogic Sukshmayama book, which you might have seen. There's a man called Peter Theobald there. He is the man who made me write that book about whom I am telling. So he was so happy to learn yoga. So yoga is a practical science. So we will be doing for 1 month of yoga, the practical aspects, all the physical aspects, as well as the breathing aspects, as well as the meditation mental aspects. Without one or other will not happen. Without breath control, the mind cannot be controlled. Without physical control of the asana, mind, breathing cannot be controlled. One link to the other. So we will be doing those things in the 3rd month in detail. The Yoga Darshana is a practical darshana. Among all the darshanas, the Yoga Darshana is the most practical in terms of the individual practice. So this is about the just a brief overview of the what the Yoga Darshana told about moksha is that what Sankhya Darshana told Asangoyam Purushaha, that is this Purusha, the observer, feeler, thinker, is unattached. He has nothing to do with Prakriti. Therefore, he is free. So because you are getting tied up with Prakriti, you are assuming your roles in Prakriti as if it is your own. Then you are getting into all kinds of problems. So when you get detached, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm pure consciousness, I'm Satchidananda. That experience of samadhi when you get, you are liberated. So I gave you just a touch of the Yoga Darshana also, after Sankhya Darshana. And how much time we have? Shall we go further or shall we stop here? How much time we have?
You have half an hour's time.
Okay. So I'll go further. Then we have the next pair, which is Nyaya and Vaiseshika. That is, today I'll give only overview of all 6 darshanas. So the Nyaya means logic. So Nyaya Padarthas. In the Nyaya Sutras, he begins with the statement that if you practice the logical procedures, that is proof-based knowledge acquisition process, epistemology. Epistemology means knowledge acquisition. How can you acquire valid knowledge as against invalid knowledge? So you can acquire valid knowledge with proof, pramana. The Nyaya Shastra is a pramana Shastra. That means it gives methods of acquiring valid knowledge with proof. So what are those methods? There are different pramanas. First is observation, actual experience. Seeing is believing, we say that. That means like that, seeing, touching, hearing, all the physical observations which we follow in our physics and chemistry. Physical properties, color, weight, or we'll say water is colorless, but we cannot say it is weightless. But space is weightless, colorless. So the physical observation is called pratyaksha. Pratyaksha, aksha means eye. It need not be only eye, it can be smell also, it can be touch also. So what can be physically observed is known as the pratyaksha pramana. Then what is the second pramana? Because everything cannot be observed physically. Inferential knowledge, anumana pramana. Like when you see smoke coming out of, on the top of the mountain, then you can infer that there must be fire. Though you cannot see the fire because you are far away. If you go near, you may be able to see the fire. The fire may not be so big. The fire is small, there is burning happening, and therefore smoke is coming. So you are able to see the smoke and not fire. But yet, in spite of the fact that you saw only smoke and not the fire, you are able to conclude that there must be fire. So this is the inferential knowledge. Most of the science is based upon pratyaksha followed by anumana. For example, you can never see electrons, but you know electrons exist for sure. So this inferential knowledge, atoms nobody has seen. But nowadays, the electronic microscope, some pictures are coming out of atom also, but not for electron. Nobody can see air, but you can infer that air exists. Or you can, if you extend your Pratyaksha Pramana to touch, then you can say, I can touch, I can feel air or breeze. So similarly, smell. All that is Pratyaksha, but the inference, suppose you are getting smell of something, you are getting smell of ghee, you are getting smell of rose flowers. You cannot see the rose flowers, but you are getting the smell. What does it mean? That means there is some rose somewhere or some rose perfume somewhere. So in this inferential pramana, we have to use along with the Pratyaksha pramana. Pratyaksha pramana has its own limitations. Inferential pramana has its own scope beyond Pratyaksha, but it has got its own limitations. For example, God, whether God exists or not. Can anybody show God physically? Or can you prove by inference? It is not possible. So it is to be accepted as a referential knowledge, expert opinion. So there are rishis, there are philosophers who made certain statements. So most of this course you will be hearing to such statements given in the various shastras, darshanas, Vedas, Upanishads. You cannot see whether soul exists or not. What happens after death? There is a very interesting discussion between the Bharadvaja and Prabhu in the Mahabharata. Bharadvaja is a material scientist. So he is asking Prabhu, how can you say there is a soul? Because when the man dies, everything is burnt here itself or buried. So what is there to go to the next life? So Prabhu answered, yes, whatever dies will not go anywhere. It is right here. But whatever goes does not die. In the Gita also, the transmigration of the soul, reincarnation has been explained not only in Hinduism but also in Buddhism and Jainism. So the Pratyaksha, Anumana and Agama. Agama means Shabda Pramana. It is referential knowledge. Like when you go to the doctor will say, okay, you don't have COVID. First of all, you don't know what is COVID. Whether COVID really exists or not, we don't know. He says you don't have COVID. Now, whether to accept or not, because you have no proof. Suppose the doctor says you have a liver problem. Can you prove it yourself? You cannot. If the doctor says you have no problem, that also you cannot prove. So there are some people who assume that they have a lot of problems. I met some persons who say that I have BP, I have sugar, I have everything, as if it is some kind of a fashion. Then actually, when you talk to the doctor says no, he doesn't have any problem. So finally, you have to accept the doctor's statement, not so-called Pratyaksha and so-called Anumana, because you have no competency levels. So whatever you don't know, you cannot know. It's not possible for you to know. You have to accept the expert's opinion or the referential knowledge without choice, without any freedom of decision making of yourself. There are so many such cases. So that's why Shabda Pramana, Shabda or hearsay or referential knowledge or expert opinion is the third Pramana. Then of course we have other Pramanas like Upamana, similarity, and that we have Ardhapatti, Anupalabdhi. These are other Pramanas added in the Mimamsa Darshana. So in Nyaya Darshana, only this Anumana, Upamana are added in addition to Pratyaksha and Agama or Shabda Pramana. So these Pramanas are given detailed analysis in the Nyaya Darshana. So what a wonder, in our Sanatana Dharma, there is a whole Darshana on various types of proof of knowledge. Whereas in other religions, there is no such thing. They have only one book, which is supposed to be everything. And in that book, whatever is written, they blindly believe. There is no proof of any kind. No need for any proof also. In fact, if you ask for proof, it will be interpreted as blasphemy. And you will be put in jail or you'll be killed, or you'll be punished. These are the laws in some countries. I don't have to tell you which countries. So, in our culture, in India, challenge, questioning is part of life. It is not only permitted, but encouraged. And once the proof is there, the challenge or question is answered successfully. So that is the power of Nyaya Darshan. So Nyaya Shastra, it is called Nyaya because justice, the justice system is based on the same logic. It is also called Anvikshaki, that is microscopic analysis of every step in and every event in every activity. So the rationality is the foundation of Sanatana Dharma. And nothing will be accepted without proof and various types of proof and how to prove. And Nyaya Shastra goes beyond just the proof or pramana, it goes into the argumentation process, syllogism. That is, the steps involved in the argumentation. There is a hypothesis, there is a reasoning, and there is a proof. I'll try to cover some of these things in some other days. I'll try to cover a book if we have time. There's a big book called Gautama Nyaya Sutras. And this Nyaya Darshana continued for many, many thousands of years. Finally, it evolved, changed itself into what is called modern Nyaya, Navya Nyaya. And it continues its existence in Bengal region even today. So Navya Nyaya is like a formal specification of a statement with the delimiters and with expressions of formal declarations. It is like a logical statement in propositional logic or in predicate logic. It's become the basis for our calculus, relational calculus, and hence relational algebra and relational databases in computer science and so on. So there is a close relationship between the Nyaya Darshana, Navya Nyaya with computer science, with logic. All the Western logic is limited logic compared to the Nyaya Darshan. And logic is the basis for artificial intelligence, not only artificial intelligence, for computer science as a whole. Logic is the basis. And the Sutrakara of the Nyaya Darshana is Gautama. Gautama, we all are familiar with that name. He lived in the banks of Godavari, though he was born in Bihar. He originally lived in Bihar and he moved to Godavari banks, Andhra region. So we have a train called Gautami Express. Godavari is given the name Gautami. The river, he made a big contribution in creating Gautami River at his time. Not recent times, in a long back. Way before Krishna, way before maybe Rama, I don't know exactly. There is a big debate on that when he existed and so on. So originally the Gautama Nyaya Sutras were not considered as part of the Vedas, but later they were added into the Vedangas as Nyaya Darshana. Then the Vaiseshika Darshana, as I told you, on which I wrote a book of 15 years of research. It's called The Physics of Vaiseshika. I try to cover it in one of the days. It is applying the Nyaya methodologies for physical observations, therefore it is physics. And I already told you about Mimamsa Darshana as the Karmakanda related, ritual related. And Vedanta Darshana, we have already dealt with it in the Upanishads. So the Vedanta Darshana comprises of three major texts. They are called Prasthanatrayi. The Brahma Sutras, as I already told you, authored by Badarayana, Vyasa. Then we also have the Upanishads, which are the original Shruti, part of the Veda, which are summarized in the Brahma Sutras in a systematic, logical building up system of sutras. And the third text of the Prasthana Trayi is nothing but the Bhagavad Gita itself. So Bhagavad Gita is the summary of the Vedanta Tattva Jnana given in the Upanishads. Why it is called Vedanta? Because it is the fourth part of the Vedas, the Jnana Kanda, the Upanishads. We have already dealt with it. And 108 Upanishads, out of which 10, 11, 12 are the principal Upanishads on which Adi Shankaracharya wrote the commentaries. And Sarve Paridhana Krishna, everybody wrote. They just translate to English what Adi Shankaracharya wrote to the extent they can understand. Sarve Paridhana Krishna wrote in English the principal Upanishads. The thick book is there. He has, of course, heavily depend upon the Adi Shankaracharya's comment. If you go to Ramakrishna Math, you will find the Brahma Sutra Bhashya of Adi Shankaracharya, Bhagavad Gita Bhashya of Adi Shankaracharya, and the Upanishad Bhashyas of Adi Shankaracharya. So these three are becoming the Prasthana Trayi, the core text of Vedanta Darshana. They deal with fundamental questions of universe, how this universe got created, who created, if any creator exists or not. So what is nature, what is universe, what is self, what is jiva, what is moksha? All the fundamental frameworks are discussed by different acharyas who interpreted the same three texts, the Brahma Sutras, Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita, in different perspectives of their own Siddhantas, Advaita Siddhanta by Adi Shankaracharya and his predecessors like Gaudapada, Govinda Bhagavad, and so on. And the Dvaita Siddhanta, the last by Madhvacharya, and in between was the Visishtadvaita Siddhanta by Ramanujacharya, which slightly deviate on hair-splitting levels of polemics, scholarly arguments. But we respect all the acharyas because they all follow the same Prasthana Trayi, which are supposed to be the summary of the vast ocean of Vedas. So with this, I'll stop here. The overall perspective, overview of the 6 darshanas and all darshanas, and I open it for discussion.
ఓకే ధన్యవాదములండి ఫర్ ద introduction of darshanas today. Anybody has any questions, raise your hands. Yeah, Pantul garu. Unmute చేసుకోండి.
Sir, namaskaram, sir.
Namaskar.
Sir, are the karas are the causes for moksha?
What is that? Repeat again.
Are the karas? Karas means all the actions. That is what you told about karas are actions. Karas are the causes for moksha.
No. Kara simply means the various actions. Actions cannot lead to moksha.
Causes, root causes.
No. There is no cause for moksha. Moksha is already there.
Oh, sir.
So, Jnanad Mukti. So, I'll ask you an opposite question. Who will get moksha? Tell me.
Who will perform, who will follow all this?
I'm not saying, I'm not talking about the procedure. What is the identity of the entity which is getting moksha? Who is that getting moksha?
Who got relief from all these problems?
Correct. But who is that? Is it
Individual.
Atma?
Atma only.
Atma.
Atma.
So Atma is part of Paramatma, right?
Yes.
So Paramatma, does it require moksha?
No, we don't agree.
So
It already
who is getting moksha? Nobody is getting moksha.
Okay.
So that jnana itself is a result. Jnana mukti. So no action lead to moksha. Is already liberated. The self, Atman, Brahman, I am Atma Brahman. The self is already Nitya Mukta, permanently liberated. Nitya Suddha Buddha Mukta Satya Paramananda Advitiya Brahma. There is no moksha. Next question.
Sir, next, sir, one more thing, sir. And
Yeah.
this Yoga Darshana is experience-oriented one.
Yes.
Like that, all the karas also experience, and all the actions
no.
also experience.
No. Here we are trying to stop the mind. So we are trying to go back to our original nature, which is the Atma. So when you are indulging in activities, you cannot, your mind is active, right? So when your mind is active, you cannot be in yourself. Yoga chittavritti nirodha tada drashtu swarupe avastha. Only when the mind has stopped, you can be in yourself. And what is that swarupa? Atma. And what is that Atma? Ayam Atma Brahma. So that is the moksha.
But all the results of karas or actions are experienced.
Not only experiences, the Rajoguna, Tamoguna, without Rajoguna and Tamoguna, you cannot perform any action. So you are away from your true nature. In Sattva Guna, you are nearer to your true nature, which is even without Sattva Guna, which is Suddha Sattva. The nature of divine being is Suddha Sattva. Narayana is Suddha Sattva. So if you are performing any actions, then you are into Rajoguna and Tamoguna, let alone Sattva Guna. So Sattva Guna, the only action you can perform is Jnana, Jnana Yajna. Like what I am doing now is Jnana Yajna. That is Sattva Guna based. But the moment you finish this class, you are getting into Rajoguna and later in the night Tamoguna. Am I right?
Yes, sir. After.
You are gone. You are gone into the Maya. You are gone deep into Maya. You are into the actions and so based on Maya. So many things will happen. Just the moment you come out of this, so many things will happen one after the other. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Till you go to sleep in Tamoguna at the end. The whole thing is Maya engrossed. You are engrossed in Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Prakriti, Devi, Hesha, Gunamayi, Trigunas, Mama Maya, Duratyaya. It cannot be transcended. Mameva ye prapajyante Maya metam tarantite. You will get all the answers in Bhagavad Gita. We'll have Bhagavad Gita sessions after finishing Darshana sessions. Only a person who reaches me will be unaffected by Prakriti. That is Asangoyam Purushaha. Otherwise, you are part of Prakriti. You are pushed around. You are thrown around. You are manipulated. You are taken for granted. You are being utilized, driven by the forces of nature. Next.
Here, what I understood is this yoga, by practicing yoga principles or yoga, the result is be a long time period. But whereas this all the karas result, it may be bad, positive or negative result, it will have immediate effect.
Immediate negative, going in the wrong opposite direction. Like Gandhi said, what is the point in running very fast in the opposite direction, the wrong direction? So you are going in the wrong direction. You will never get moksha through action, karma. That is the whole idea of Vedanta Darshana, how Shankaracharya became Jnana and the Jagat Guru. He established the supremacy of Jnana over karma. That is the main argument between Mandal Mishra and what you are telling. Whatever karas you are telling are all very stupid activities like walking, jumping, talking, fighting and eating and all those things. But he talked of Vaidika karma, the karma marga, Mimamsa, Darshana is karma marga. He claimed that through that you will get moksha. And Shankaracharya defeated in the arguments with Mandal Mishra, who later became Sureshwaracharya. He's head of Shankaracharya but at Sringeri. That only jnana will lead to moksha. Jnana mukti. He proved it. So that is the whole idea of Vedanta Darshana. And that jnana will be achieved through aided or experience to the yogic process. Next question.
Thank
Others-
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Yeah, namaskar.
My query is that is slightly apart from our discussion. Since the inception of civilization, we have seen so many wars. Earlier it was geographical, capturing geographical places. Now it has become economical and destruction of terrorism. So under these circumstances, in the name of destruction of terrorism, there are big war we are experiencing, and every country is supporting each and other. So under this, the innocent people who are dying, what is our Sanatana Dharma says about that innocent people who are dying because of that war, or is they have zero contribution?
You are perfectly correct. I told you previously in this lecture itself, whenever dharma is disturbed, all these things will happen. These are the symptoms, indications of the equilibrium of dharma being disturbed, damaged. This is Kali Yuga, right? Are you aware of this?
Yes.
In Kali Yuga, adharma is 75%. And dharma is 25% only.
He's walking with only one leg.
So 75% adharma is there. Just imagine. It is like, 75% water and only 25% milk.
But those who are fighting, everybody is thinking he is doing their dharma.
No, they are in delusion. They are hypnotized. They don't know what they are doing. You see, once things go beyond control, you don't know what you are doing. We have seen in our houses also, some people lose their temper. They will go hanky-panky. They'll jump and they'll beat and they'll kill and they'll commit suicide. All these things are happening. Am I right? It's not that only in Gaza Strip these things are happening. You just open TV and watch, then somebody or open newspaper and see, they'll say there is a lady who hanged herself or who killed somebody and man who killed. All these things are continuously happening. Why they are happening? There will be gundas, criminals attacking. All kinds of things are happening. Suppose the police are not there, what will happen? So this is a continuous process. The Rajoguna, Tamoguna gameplay is going on with adharma, asuri pravritti. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 16th chapter, he has described how people behave, and exactly that is happening today. So the asuri pravritti, rakshas pravritti, you can see what all they showed in TV about Gaza Strip war is rakshasa pravritti, both sides. So they are not able to calm their mind. See, one lead to the other. I told you the chain, cause and effect chain. Suppose I come and say, by mistake, my leg touched your leg. You are sitting next to me in the bus. Okay? By mistake, my leg touched your leg. So what I will do, I'll say, I'm sorry. Yes or no? Answer me.
Yes.
Are these people saying sorry? See, they're not just touching leg, but they're killing. Are they ever feeling sorry? Are they expressing their sorry? No. Because they have gone crazy. So you have to come back. You have to bring people back to their original civilizational state. That is what is required to be done.
Under this situation, what will be our course of action? Those who are not at all attached, except seeing the situation, how we can calm down our mind?
No. See, first of all, if you want me to give a solution to the problem, first of all, rescue operations have to be done. People who are suffering have to be rescued. Those who are dead already died. Now, those who are alive, they have to be taken care, well taken care. America or Russia or India, whosoever it is, or United Nations, should immediately take up rescue operations. and hospitalization, medical treatment, they support everything. Immediately war should be stopped by Russia, America, United Nations, whosoever they are, and rescue operations have to be done. Then, parallelly, the warring groups, both sides, had to be brought onto a table in some other place. If you remember in the Sri Lanka war, government of India took all the warring groups into Bhutan. Do you remember? To the top of mountains in Himalayas. They were fighting in Sri Lanka. They were all taken there. They were kept there for a long time and they were asked to calm down and then discuss how to resolve the problem. So the problem is very well known. What is the problem? Nobody has any doubts about the problem, but nobody has a solution. They have to sit down, come out and arrive at evolve a solution under the mediation of a neutral party. Then the solution has to be implemented. Then this problem will be solved.
Thank you, sir.
It is the same procedure has to be done for any other problem. I have handled marital diverse problems of my relatives and friends and I have solved them in this way. First, they have to apologize for whatever crimes they have committed, both sides. They have to apologize and compensate for those who are victims up to the satisfaction of those who are alive, survivors. Then they have to find a solution and implement. Of course, it's a long process, but it has to be done. They don't want to do it, they'll never get a solution. Next question.
Oh, thank you.
Sir. Okay. Krishna.
Namaskaram, sir. Thanks for sharing the knowledge, sir. We are taking into new ventures, sir. Sir,
Yes.
one request. AI technology, LLM, large language models are there. How we can pursue these in different ways? You said multiple perspectives we need to see.
Yes, that is, you see, the logical perspective is there, computer science perspective. We have Panini grammar, and we have a separate lecture on this. We will come to that. Artificial intelligence. We have a group also, Sanskrutam Artificial Intelligence Group. So the LLMs, ChatGPT, they're having serious limitations. Like you see, ChatGPT has to be trained. Any LLM has to be trained with huge corpus. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So it requires crores and crores of training material. Why it is required like that? Because it is based on probability theory. You know, if you take the neural machine translation, I have used it, I have deployed it, we have conducted a workshop. We were surprised to see it will not perform translation unless and until you provide training to it with lakhs and lakhs of tokens. If you don't train with so many instances, it will not perform translation. It is so bad. Whereas normal translation systems will perform translation without any training. So LLMs have been trained on English corpora or French, only European languages, so they perform. They don't perform for Indian languages because nobody has trained them. And first of all, we don't have the corpora in the electronic form. So what is to be done? People are breaking their heads. What is to be done? I am conducting a conference on 8th and 9th December at KMIT on AI/ML applications to NLP, Sanskrit, NLP, and cognition. So different methods are being evolved. I have developed a model called Object Knowledge Model, which is representing the knowledge. You can represent this model as graphs, knowledge graphs. How to enhance LLMs with knowledge graphs, existing knowledge, rather than go on training endlessly, which is not feasible. And it was feasible only to Microsoft, OpenAI, or Google because they have that kind of investments and infrastructure. Others cannot do it. It is not feasible at all. It's a failure. It's going to be a failure. So other methods have to be adopted based on Sanskrit grammar, which I developed a model called Object Knowledge Model. This audience in this group will not understand all these topics. You have only asked this question, nobody else may be able to understand also. So we will have to find alternative methods to LLMs based on knowledge graphs. You meet me, I'll discuss with you in detail. I have the methodology, and we are conducting a conference on 8th and 9th December on the same topic.
Okay, sir. I will come personally and discuss with you, sir.
Okay, Krishna Prasad, you join this group of AI. We have a group. I will add you to that.
Okay, sir.
Anybody else wants to ask any question? Yeah, Gautamji.
Yes, unmute yourself.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
You told in the context that Shankaracharya has established the superiority of Jnana, but these are different concepts. I'm not negating that, but it is very nice statement. I find that tapasya adhiko yogi, jnanibhopi matodhikaha, konmibhascha adhiko yogi, tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. That means also Gyan Yoga and Karma Yoga also is
Yeah,
included.
what he means there is Jnani. See, you have to understand one thing very clearly. Jnana is not just theoretical jnana. So, in Shankaracharya himself, at many contexts, in books like Aparokshanubhuti or even in many other texts of Advaita, this fact is brought out. The nature of jnana is through samadhi. Jnana means not just theory. You see, I told you that also in my lecture. Theory means suppose you have to go to a particular place. You have a Google Maps. You go left, go right, go straight, go left, go right. That the whole thing is ready with you. The jnana is there. But unless you actually go, you will not reach. In the same way, the real jnana is through samadhi. In fact, this fact is mentioned repeatedly in many books. So simply theoretical jnana, in fact, Upanishads themselves have said it. In fact, Shankaracharya himself has said it. Vag Vaikhari, Shabdajari, Shastra, Vyakhyana, Kaushalam, Bhuktaye Natu Muktaye. In Vivek Chudamani, he made this statement. Very good speech. Like I am giving so many speeches. I am giving extempore. I am not using any book also. So I go on giving. Vag Vaikhari, Shabdajari, like Ganga river, it will flow. A lot of people told me when I give speech, it flows like Ganga river without any break. And I have the ability to quote many shastras. Fine, all that is fine. Vag Vaikhari, Shabdajari, Shastra Vyakhyana Kaushalam. The ability to interpret shastras, all that is fine. But that is not going to give you mukti. It may give you other things. Mukti is something will come through jnana, which is aparoksha jnana. That is not indirect theoretical knowledge, but experiential knowledge. That is what is meant by yogi there. Whereas in the Jnana Mukti statement, which is there in the Upanishads itself, this is the real Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana, which is realization, not theoretical knowledge. That way you have to understand.
Thanks.
Okay, now, sorry, the question answer session is over, sir. We will go for Prarthana and then Janaganamana. So let us request Hari Kumar ji to chant Prarthana, please.
Jai Guru. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayentaam Nyayena Margena Mahimahisa Go Brahmanebhyah Subhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Salini Desoyam Kshobarahito Brahmanas Santu Nirbhaya Aputra Putrinas Santu Putrinas Santu Pautrinas अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतम् सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान्मा प्रमदः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः पूर्णमदं पूर्णमदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति
ధన్యవాదములండి హరికుమార్ గారు.
जय
Now let us recite Janaganamana. Tala Chittibabu garu, please lead. Let us all stand up.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय
Jai Hind.
जय
Karnalji, only one participant names Sheeja, Seeja.